So today what I'm going to explain is that, so what exactly the introduction to all AI, ML and NLP and deep learning, and how exactly the Gen AI is different, and how it is impacting the market standards, and what is the market value in case if you are going to learn this, and who all can learn this Gen AI. So these all are the concepts that I am going to cover today. And as I mentioned, the main concepts from the basics, as I mentioned, it is going to start from the scratch. Those who all are coming from the diverse background, we are going to start from the Python coding programming, and then requirements from the machine learning, NLP, deep learning, and then Gen AI. So this is a flow of execution that we are going to follow. As I mentioned, in case if you guys are having any doubts, feel free to drop a text message. I'll be having access to my chat window. Okay. All right. So let's start the session. I know most of you are already familiar, like what exactly AI and how it is really impacting the real life and all these things, right? How the companies are hiring the candidates, and so what is the great benefit in learning all these things. But I will explain you how exactly the AI and how exactly the real life examples deals with these things and all. Okay. So if I can tell you, AI, first of all, artificial intelligence is something, it is like giving a computer or machine whatever the ability. As a human brain, we are thinking, we are providing the ability to think and learn from the experience, similar to how exactly humans do generally. So, we as a human beings, what we are doing generally, based on the learning experience or based on the circumstances, we are learning something, correct? So, same like that, but the machines are not having the capability to learn like a human being, correct? So that's where we are providing the ability to think and learn from the experience. The experience which is coming to these machines is entirely by using the data, guys. That is the main thing here. Similar to however the humans do basically. So imagine you have a friend who is really good at solving puzzles, let's say, okay, who is really very good at solving puzzles and learning the new things from each one they solve, let's say, for example. Okay, so over the time, this friend, whoever your friend, will get better and better at puzzles because they learn from their past experience, correct? Understand what exactly the past experience here. What is the past experience for that particular friend? He has been solving the puzzles and learning the new things from each one that they solve, I said. So that is what the past experience he has been experienced with, right? Here, the because of the past experience, he is becoming expert into that, right? The same, like however your friend is learning the things, AI works in an exact similar way, but here the AI is not learning with the puzzles, but rather it learning with the computers by the data. That is where the main difference comes in. Okay, so let's look at a real time use case to make this clear. So think about, you all must be using the smartphones, correct? So how exactly a smartphone can recognize? You must be having the face unlock features in everybody's phone, correct? Whether if it is of iPhone or Android or whatever it is. So right now you guys must be having this face unlock feature, correct? So when you first set up the face recognition, have you ever wondered how the phone is actually anticipating and recognizing the things from all the different areas and capturing your face? How exactly the phone is understanding your features of the phone? Did you ever wonder? Okay, so when you first set up this face recognition feature, your phone will take multiple pictures of your face from the different angles, correct? Here, when you say different angles, ignore my spelling mistakes. When you say the different angles, it will ask you to rotate your head, correct? So means when it is taking the pictures of your face from the different angles, as you use it more, the phone gets better at recognizing your face, even if you are wearing the glasses, or even when you are having some different hairstyle also. In that situation also, the face the unlock feature will become more mature. So how it is happening? So this ability to improve or recognize over the time is something which is powered by AI again. That is the capability of the AI. Means, technically speaking, here in this particular example of unlocking your face features and all, how AI involves in creating the algorithms and how exactly it works basically. So, as we discuss the example, here AI involves in creating the algorithm to recognize the features and models that allow the computers to perform the tasks that usually require human intelligence, guys. Okay. Remember, it will require the human intelligence. Why these require the human intelligence? Because these tasks include learning from the data I said. So, what exactly this data? As we all are humans, we all are learning from the experiences, correct? But how the machine will experience something into the world, that can be come up with the learning criteria. How that learning can be done? Through the training process. So what is that can be trained on? By using the data, which requires the human intelligence. And along with this, what else it requires? Understanding of the language is very, very important, correct? So when I say understanding of the language, what exactly it is? It is nothing but NLP. NLP is nothing but natural language processing. That's where when you are working as an AI engineer or data scientist, it's important to understand that you are get familiarized with the NLP techniques, okay? Where it also requires recognizing the objects or recognizing the patterns, let's say. Again, what is recognizing the patterns here? It is a computer vision again. So here, if you guys can understand, the very first thing I said, learning from the training data. So what exactly the learning from the training data? It is nothing but machine learning, correct? And then we are having understanding of the language, that is going to be the natural language process. And then I said recognizing the patterns, it is nothing but computer vision. Based on all this, internally what happens? Complex training is going to happen in between all this. That is going to be the deep learning pattern. Combining all these, finally the machine will decide something as an output. That is something known as decision making, or making decisions out of the learning patterns. This entire thing, whatever we discussed in technical terms, as I said, AI involves creating the algorithms and models that allow the computers to perform the tasks that require the human intelligence. As I said, these tasks including the training with the data, that is nothing but the machine learning, and understanding the language, that is nothing but the natural language processing, and recognizing the patterns, again that includes the computer vision. And then we are making the decisions out of it. If we can connect the dots, whatever we discuss, to tie this back to our smartphone example, whatever the unlocking feature I said, like face lock, correct? Face unlock features. If you can tie up all these things into the face unlock, first of all, Your phone uses the machine learning algorithm, correct? To understand and improve its face recognition capability based on the data. What is the data here in the smartphone unlocking? That is going to be your photos, correct? Which were clicked in the beginning. Here, the data of the machine learning is going to be your photos, whatever it receives. And then, when you ask your phone a question, it uses a natural language processing to process your request. And if you want to perform some complex task, again, it utilizes the deep learning techniques. And the technology that allows your phones to see and recognize your face is an example of computer vision. By using this, it will be able to identify your face based on the pictures that it took from. In this example, if you can connect all these dots, AI is something which is moving across the entire process, correct? AI is fascinating because it's like giving a superpower to the machines by combining machine learning, NLP, computer vision, deep learning, all these things. We build a feature which we are utilizing in the real world examples. In this example, we identified that the smartphones are learning, means how it is learning based on the input images that whatever we have given, they are learning and adapting and sometimes even predicting the things before they even happen. Whether it is recommending your next favorite song or a movie or a shopping dress material in the shopping cart or helping the doctors even diagnosing the diseases. It is all around us and shaping the future of how exactly the world is changing with AI. That is what something which we will have to understand as a AI engineer. It is not restricted to one particular field, guys. Again, I'm mentioning it is not restricted to one particular field of either retail or banking or something like that. It includes everything. When I say everything, all the business criteria, whether if it is coming from the media, entertainment, retail, and healthcare or banking, finance, whatever it is, everywhere the AI is there. So if you're wondering, so how exactly all these are differ when compared to the individual? So all these comes under the same umbrella of AI, ML, NLP, and also the deep learning, correct? So how exactly all these things are getting different? Okay, so let me explain here. If we can understand the example, whatever I provided, the face unlock feature. So let's focus on one example of AI. Let's say, imagine you have a smart assistant. You all are familiar with Siri or Alexa, correct? You must be utilizing in your regular mobile phones. So where that can answer your questions, or if you can go and ask Siri, hey, call to my mom, or play this song, or play this music, or set the reminder. If you can ask this question, AI is the overall concept that makes these smart assistants possible. So it's like a very big umbrella under which all the other technologies, like as we discussed, it includes ML, NLP, deep learning, and computer vision, and all these things will fall. AI is a very big umbrella where all these things are combined together to perform a task, basically. So, if you're wondering how it is going to work, technically speaking, AI is the field of computer science dedicated to creating the systems that can perform the task requiring human intelligence. It's an overarching like terms that includes the various subfields and the technologies designed in such a way that they can mimic or replicate the human cognitive functions. When we say human cognitive functions, however, we as a humans are thinking to execute one task, these machines are expected to work exactly same like humans. Means here it is designed to mimic or replicate the human cognitive functions basically. That is something about the AI. Okay, so what exactly the ML here? Machine learning, as I said. So, what exactly happens when we are talking about the machine learning? So, think of you must be either you are coming from a fresher background or you must be a working employee or whoever you are. So, you must be familiar with the Gmail, correct? Email services and all. Okay, so think of an email service, let's say, okay, in your Gmail, let's say, for example. So, in your email service that filters out spam directly, and you must be having a separate folder called spam, right? At first, it might not be a very accurate, but over the time, as it sees more examples of spam and non spam emails, it learns to make better decisions about what to filter out. This learning process from the training of the data is something known as machine learning. Technically speaking, machine learning is again a subset of AI where computers uses algorithms to learn from and then make predictions or decisions based on the data that whatever we are giving. So unlike the traditional programming where the rules are explicitly written, we must be having if you guys are familiar with the different Axis Bank algorithms and all. So if I can open the Axis Bank login page, I'm just opening this. So I think in my last demo also have explained. If I'm really not sure whether I provide it or not. If not, you guys can see. If I'm going and asking some questions here, like if first of all I'm telling hi, it will ask me how may I help you. If I'm asking a query, I want to apply for credit card, let's say for example, it will start suggesting me some information, apply online benefits. Let's say, for example, I want to apply for house loan. In that situation, again, it will start telling or suggesting the information. That's super cool. And I'm going to ask one more question. How to check balance, let's say. It is asking me, please enter the login credentials to check your account balance. Everything is super cool. I'm going to ask about the data science, let's say. In this, again, it will start generating. Sorry, I'm still learning. Can you please rephrase it for me once again? I can help you with bank related queries, or you can tap on one of these topics. And I am going to ask one more question. What is NLP? I'm going to ask this question. Again, it will tell, sorry, I'm still learning. Did you ever wonder why this Axis Bank is able to answer only the relevant information about what it learned? And in case if I'm going to ask some other question, the model is not able to generate answers. Any any initiatives from you guys? Anyone? Why? What is the reason? You can text me in the chat window. Why? Anyone? That's okay, whether if it is of correct or not. Correct. Exactly. It got trained only with the particular data, only banking related data. It was not trained with the explicit data, the data being fetched from the keyword. Yeah, exactly, Deepak. That is so perfect. So here, if you guys can understand, in this particular process, whatever we are seeing as an example, it is trained with the rule based information with only some particular amount of the data. Again, that particular amount of the data also, somebody has very nicely mentioned, this particular data is extracted from the keyword based analysis. That's so perfect. If we are going and asking based on the keyword, it will search something actually. In case if it is finding any relevant information wherever there is like credit card is matching. However, you guys can perform. Let's say if you want to write the SQL query, what do? You will write select star from employee where name like, you will mention like this, where name like, let's say for example I want to search with the name of the person name whose name is going to start with M and end with something else, let's say for example. Okay, or prior to that also there are some methods. Means here also we are trying to match with the just M word. Like that, the banking sector board, whatever the Axis Bank that we have seen, we are also trying to fetch the data like exactly the same like manner. That is where the traditional approach of machine learning comes in. In the initial days, they perform the very basic rule based algorithms to identify particular information. In the example whatever I provided, whether if it is of the spam or non-spam emails, initially the model got trained with the huge amount of the data. When I say huge amount of the data, it includes, you all know, if you are, I mean, if you are familiarized, if you are a frequent user of your emails and all, you must be familiar, right? What is a non-spam email? Let's say, for example, you got the information. Let's say, for example, you will be having demo today. Let's say you got the email telling that, and please join by 7:30 a.m. IST today. And they provided some dates and time. Let's say, for example, that thing you will be able to understand that this is something, a meeting invite, which I will have to join, and it comes under the non-spam email. But as a human, you have been exposed to this external world. You are familiarized that the spam emails are something which are something consist of, let's say for example, congratulations, you won a lottery of 1 lakh rupees, please click on the below link, let's say for example. In this particularly, the spam email may contain some link and they will ask you to click on it. It can be a fraudulent email, correct? In case if you're working in any kind of organization, there are so many data breach securities will be available. They will tell you your package has arrived. Please collect it from here. Before collecting, please click on the below link to register on it. Means after hearing multiple things from the surrounded people, you all are familiar which emails or which messages are considered to be a spam messages, correct? And you also know that how which all are not considered to be the non-spam emails. But how the machine can be able to understand that? With the training data, whatever we are providing the detailed information to the model, telling that, hey, in case if you are identifying this kind of emails, make it as a spam and directly move those emails into the spam emails. Going forward, it will mature. Like, however, you as a human brain are thinking the terms in a different perspective, the model will also get matured enough based on the increase in data. Means if you keep on hearing something about the cybersecurity, and also if you are hearing about the multiple fraudulent transactions in the outside world, however you guys are get exposed to it, and also however you guys are learning based on the training data with the continuous iteration, the model will also learn how exactly the spam emails will look like and how exactly the non-spam emails will look like. Based on that, the model will suggest and improve its what is a functionality. As I mentioned, machine learning is all about the subset of AI, where here the computers uses the algorithm to learn from them, from and also make the predictions out of it. On what basis they are doing it? based on the data, whatever the training data that we are going to provide, based on that, it will start learn and then provide the information, right? In the traditional rule based algorithm, what happens? They will be having some particular rules telling that, okay, in case if you are identifying this, then only you can provide the output, but do not provide the output if you are not having anything. Means we are restricting it actually. So here I have a message. Who decide the training questions, which classify mails to spam or non-spam, junk or okay. So Joginder, as a data scientist, it's our duty to collect the data basically. So first of all, we need to collect the information. And in the backend scenes of your email box, there are data scientists who worked on the collection of the data and also trained that particular model. As a data scientist, it's our duty to first of all collect the data and then train the model. Okay, it's a data scientist responsibility. Okay, is it clear? Yep. All right. So then, as I said, this machine learning is not like this rule-based algorithm. It's improved version. Nowadays, these models are able to understand. After this, as this is dealing with the data, in order to work with, okay, with this kind of data, we are fine. What if we are going to have the text data? But explicitly, I am telling, if you are going to deal with the text data, always remember you are expected to work with natural language processing. So what exactly the natural language processing? So as I mentioned, it completely deals with the text data. When we say it deals with the text data and all, let's say, for example, you all must be familiar with the Google Translator, correct? So, what exactly the duty of the Google Translator? It will convert the text from one language to other. Let's say, for example, here I'm taking Hindi, and here I'm telling I am learning NLP. Let's say, for example. So, if you can see the language, whatever I have provided in the left hand side, that is in English, it converted it into the Hindi language. Means when you use the Google Translate to convert the text from one language to another, or when you interact with the chatbot, first of all, it will understand the context of the input that you have provided and then responds to your questions accordingly. That's where NLP comes into the action. So, how exactly NLP works here? How it is helping to understand and process the human language, that is something can be derived by the NLP. So, natural language processing is again, it is also a field of AI, focuses on interaction between the computers as well as human languages. So here it involves enabling the computers, first of all, read and then understand and then generate the human language in such a way that that is both meaningful as well as contextually correct. So that is where NLP comes into the picture. In simple terms, and I can tell you, without NLP, there is no generative AI, guys. Because in the generative AI, we all are mostly dealing with the textual data. So that's the reason it is important to understand how the NLP is actually being processed to the computers to get the outputs in a proper way. So those all are the things that we are going to learn in our upcoming classes. So then the next one, as I said, deep learning. So what exactly the deep learning? Again, it is a part of AI. And imagine, let's say you have a photo app, let's say, for example, it can be images or snapshot or whatever it is, let's say, that recognize, and you must be familiar with the Google Photos, correct? So, how exactly it will work? It will store the photos and it will recognize the faces of the people in case if you are already having the photos of it, and it will ask you to tag in case if you named it, correct? So, how exactly it is going to work, this photo, Google photos and all these things, or Facebook photos, how they are recognizing and tagging your friends automatically. Even if you can upload a photo in the Facebook or Instagram, it will ask you the suggestions based on the feature identification. It will ask you, right, is this the person is this or that, means how exactly the Facebook or the Google Photos is addressing and recognizing the faces of that particulars. How it is getting better at identifying the people over the time, because it learns from thousands and lakhs of photos, guys. Just imagine this ability to recognize and learn from the images is something which is powered by the deep learning algorithms. In simple terms, deep learning is basically a subset of machine learning that uses neural networks. This is the main difference. It uses the neural networks with many layers. Those layers are deep layers to analyze the various forms of the data. It's particularly effective for the task which involves a very huge amount of the data. If you want to deal with the huge amount of the data, like image and speech recognition, due to its ability of complex patterns present in the network. Okay, so here I have a message. So, what exactly the neural network? Okay, so in simple terms, I can tell you. So, basically, neural networks is something, it works exactly like a human brains. It is a series of algorithms. Where did I written? Okay, I will write it here. Neural networks basically works in such a way that it consists of neurons, like however human brain consists of the neurons and all these things. These are the basic units of the nodes in a neural network. Means it receives the input, process it, and uses some mathematical function, and then pass the information to the next layer, telling that in case if we are asking some question, let's say for example, if I'm coming and telling you in simple words, let's say if I'm coming and asking you what is your self introduction, so first of all, what do, you will process my query and you will think of it, and then you will provide the answer, correct? Like how exactly a human brain is processing the information. Neural networks also consist of the neurons within it, which can process the information and then sends back the response as an output. Each neuron receives the input, process it, and then provides the output, which contains input layer and hidden layer and also output layer. So what happens in all these things? So as I said, input layer will receive the information and hidden layer will process the information, and then the output layer will provide the output. As I said, if you are going to deal with the complex data sets and all, we can simply go with the deep learning neural networks because they deal with the neurons. However, the human brain works, they will mimic the function. These neural networks are built on top of mimicking the human brain basically, because human brain is having the capability to deal with the complex patterns also, right? So that is what exactly a neural network. Is it clear, Deepak? Kumar. So Kumar, yeah, thanks, Deepak. Kumar, please let me know what is your query here. You did not understand the neural networks? Sure. I will explain one more time, not a problem. Mm, just a moment. I will provide you. Just a moment, guys. Okay, so here I will open the neural networks. Yes, Joginder, I'm repeating it. That is what I'm telling. Yeah. So basically, as I said, neural network. Okay, so I will give you one example, guys. Okay. So imagine, okay, handwritten images, no. So what I will do is, just a moment. Okay, so there are multiple examples for this actually. I thought of telling first of all some handwritten images and all, but okay, I will tell you. Imagine you have a machine that helps you sort different types of fruits, let's say, for example. It can be either apple or it can be even banana or orange, let's say. First of all, what happens is that basically these neural networks are designed in such a way that they mimic the human brain. It consists of these many layers. Like a human brain, however, whenever we are raising some queries, however, the human brain will process the information. Neural networks will work exactly same like that. So what happens in this? First of all, we are having the input layers. Think of this part of a machine where you place a fruit. Let's say, for example, you are coming and telling you, hey, I am providing the example fruit of apple image. I can know I'm not really good at drawing. You can consider it as an apple, let's say, for example. Okay. So now let's say you are passing this apple as an input to the machine, let's say, for example. Like a coffee vending machine could be an example. Okay. Yeah, you can consider that also. Um, Coffee vending machine, how it is actually, yeah, it's a great example actually, to be honest, because first of all, what it will do, this is where you choose the options like a machine, like coffee type, sugar level, or cappuccino, or let's say, for example, you can even choose hot milk, hot water, or something like that. That's really actually a good one. Who is that? Karthik. Yeah, so where we can be providing like how much amount of the milk you can choose, each represent with the different features or inputs, and it will first of all it will take the input data and then it will process the information based on the information. So Manish, yes. So yeah, Manish, I will explain. After this completion of the deep learning, I will show you what is the syllabus that I'm going to cover. Maybe just give me like more 5 to 10 minutes. I will jump in there. Okay, I will show you all the syllabus that what I'm going to cover. Don't worry, we are going to cover everything from the scratch from the Python with the coding parts and all. I will explain. Okay. All right. So if we can consider, okay, let's take the same example of Karthik, whatever he mentioned. Let's not go with the apple. Let's go with the coffee vending machine only. Here, if we can consider the coffee vending machine itself, so what happens in this actually? So as I mentioned, initially it is having the multiple options like cappuccino or latte or even the milk, hot water or something like that. In the input layer, what happens? This is where you choose the options on the machine. Even you can, some machines will also have the cappuccino sugar levels and also milk amount, how much you want to mix, and even each choice represents the different feature or the input from the coffee vending machine. Once if you pass it as an input, then that it can be sent to the hidden layers in the machine. Means what happens inside the machine? There are several internal processes that can figure out how to mix the ingredients to make your coffee, right? You never know, or you're not able to see what is happening behind the scenes, but you will be able to get the coffee as an output there as per the request. Means internally, what happens is that each hidden layer process the different features like combining the coffee with milk or adjusting the sweetness or sugar levels of the coffee, whatever you are providing there, correct? Means in this particular, how exactly the hidden layers are helping us to prepare it. Each hidden layer process the different feature, like combining the coffee with milk or adjusting the sugar levels. That is something happens in the hidden layers. Then after processing, the machine will decide that type of copy makes based on your selection, whatever you provided at the initial stages. That is what the final decision point where it delivers your either cappuccino or tea or coffee, whatever it is. Correct? Means technically speaking, whatever the coffee machine that we discussed in the initial phases, whatever the input layer, think of these as parts of machine that handle the specific task. Now you can consider them as a neurons, like measuring the coffee or heating up the milk. Each neuron processes the paths of the information, and in the individual layer, in the input layer, this is where you enter your preferences, tea or coffee or sugar or milk. Each input represents the different feature, and these are the internal components of the machine that mix and prepare the coffee. They work together in the internal hidden layer to handle the input features and create the desired copy for you. And then in the output layer, this is where the machine produces the final coffee based on your preferences. It may includes multiple features like weights and biases, so many happens behind the scenes, but that is completely technical. When I am explaining about the deep learning models, I will explain. But this is a high level example of how a neural networks will work. Okay. So is it now clear? Jogendra and Kumar, is it clear? Yeah, great. Thank you so much for confirming. So that's how basically all these models will work basically. So can you also cover the block box AI? So it is not part of our syllabus, but if you guys are interested in, I will explain you that also, Avinash, based on the time permits and all. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so these all are the what to say working criteria. Generally, a machine learning or deep learning and all these things will do. So this is all about the difference between the AI, ML, NLP, and deep learning. By combining all these, we are working with. Sorry, I just a moment. I will close this. By combining all these, we are going to achieve the generative AI. So if you're wondering, oh, all this is not part of Gen AI, it is part of generative AI, but these all are the basics which we require to work with the Gen AI projects. So what exactly happens in the Gen AI? As you all familiar, it's like a buzz in the market. What is happening? So if imagine you have, let's say somebody who is telling, okay, let's say for example, imagine you have a young niece who loves bedtime stories, let's say for example. So instead of reading a story from the book, you tell an AI telling that create a story about a brave little girl who explores a magical forest, let's say for example. You're asking the AI a question about the story, whatever I mentioned. So this is not present in the book, let's say for example. So how you will get the story? The AI starts generating a completely new unique story tailored to your request. So how it is going to happen? Every time you ask for a different story, let's say, for example, the model or the AI model will never say no. It will, even if you can ask 100 times the same question, the model will do fresh up and then start a new thing based on whatever it has learned from the stories as well as language. If you're wondering how the model is able to generate even after 100 different times that we asked a story, that is the intelligence behind the Gen AI. Yes, exactly. So now let's say you want the story to include some specific details. Let's say I'm telling the girl name as Arha, let's say, for example, okay? So she has a pet, let's say, for example, poodle with her, okay? So Arha is having a pet poodle and she encounters a wise old owl that gives her advice, let's say. This is a storyline which I want to create. You tell the AI that these details and it generates a story that fits exactly what you desired. Even if you want to change the names, let's say, for example, you want to add a sister to this baby girl, Arha. Let's say her name is Anya, or let's say her name is Ira. So, in this, what happens? The model is having the ability to take whatever the inputs that you are giving, and then it will start learning the information and it will adjust the information accordingly whatever you are changing. Later, if you felt that, hey, I did not like the names, I want to change some names, I don't want to mention some let's say, for example, I don't want to keep a girl, I want to now consider some boy name. Let's say, for example, we are keeping Adrit here. So it means, even if you can tell the model, telling that, hey, please remove the name of Arha and replace it with some other person name. Let's say, for example, an Adrit, and remove the dog as a pet and make it as a cat as a pet animal, let's say. Even if you can provide your information like this, the model will understand and generate suitable output as per the information whatever you provided. How come these models are understanding even after changing multiple iteration? That is only possible by Gen AI, guys. Again, not with all these things. For sure, I can tell you. It is only possible by using the Gen AI. If you are wondering how that is going to happen, that is where the difference comes in with the traditional approaches. Gen AI models are known as generative AI, or known as large language models, everywhere, whether if it is of the machine learning, whether if it is of the natural language processing, whether if it is of the computer vision or deep learning, everywhere we are dealing it with the data. But here what happens, how this is going to be the different, though it is also getting trained with the data, correct? But here, the difference is that here we are training the machines with the based on the particular use case, whatever we required. But here, the Gen AI is not like that. It was trained on the entire internet data. That is where the difference comes in. The model got exposed to the 175 billions of parameters. Just imagine 175 billions of parameter. Okay, forget about the number. You just consider entire internet or Wikipedia data, where the model got to know or learn from the entire internet or Wikipedia data. That's where, whenever you are opening the chat GPT and raising a queries like, write a Python code for adding two numbers, and even medicine for particular disease, and even for the diet plan, or if you can go and ask some, provide, help me with a joke, even whatever the queries that you raise, model will never say, even if you can go and ask, write a story about this particular adventurous journey in the jungle, whatever the query that you are raising, model will never tell you that, hey, I cannot tell the answer for this. But if you are asking this kind of questions to the machine learning model, model will throw you an error telling that, hey, I got trained with this particular data. If you are asking these things, I cannot address this. So that is where the difference comes in between the general traditional AI systems as well as Gen AI systems, as because they exposed to the entire internet data, these models are having the capability to explain whatever the questions that you are providing. It is having the capability to explain answers for all those queries, whether it can be coming from a joke or something related to a coding or technical or non-technical. It will never tell you no to that. That's where every organizations are looking to implement this particular approaches, where the traditional approaches are completely depends on the training data from the scratch. You are expected to train the model and you are expected to understand the performance, you are expected to fine tune it. But here coming to the Gen AI, as because these models are already pre-trained with a huge amount of the data, the expectation is to utilize those models to build the applications based on your use case. That's the reason companies are highly interested in Gen AI for several compelling reasons. The popularity of Gen AI in the market can be attributed to its potential to revolutionize the various industries. It can be healthcare, it can be retail, or it can be banking or finance, entertainment, media, whatever it is. It is enhancing the creativity and efficiency and even personalization and even innovation. Let's say if an organization is drawing $100 billion in a month, let's say for example, by using the Gen AI, they are not just doubling, they are increasing their revenue to $500 billion. Now you can imagine how much the profit that the company is getting just by implementing the Gen AI solution. That's where every other organization wants to take the candidates from the Gen AI standpoint, whether it can be any of the reason, whether it can be creative or content generation or personalized state efficiency, cost reduction, unlocking the new business models, enhancing the innovation and research, whatever it is. So here I have a message. We will be user of LLMs and use them in our applications, or will get to know how to build our own LLM. So, Joginder, we are not going to build LLM from the scratch. We are going to make use of the large language models to improve the use cases and to work on the use cases. Every organization right at this moment is going to utilize the pre-trained models, because again, if we are going to build our own, see, you can build your own LLM also, but again, that is going to be the time consuming, resource consuming, and you are expected to invest millions of amount of the data. So that's where companies are not preferring to build their own LLMs. Rather, they are making use of the pre-trained LLMs, but they are fine-tuning their company data with the pre-trained LLMs. Okay, is it clear? We are going to work with these LLMs, right? So Avinash is asking, Gen AI trained on the 175 billion websites data or 175 billions of, it is not records or websites, it's about the parameters. It's about the parameters. When I say parameters, it includes words basically. It includes any kind of data, entire internet Wikipedia data. Even it includes the PDF files or databases or the Excel files, whatever it is, from the entire internet. 175 billions of the parameters it is. You can consider it as the records also, basically. So I have one more query. Yeah, thanks, Avinash. Manish is asking, these LLMs frameworks are paid or open source available? There are paid LLMs as well as open source LLMs also available, Manish, actually. So if you can consider OpenAI LLM, it is a paid version. If you want to go with the Llama 2, Llama 3 and all these things, these all are free of cost, basically. I mean to say, some amount we will have to invest, but there are so many open source LLMs also available. Any which way, as a developer, you no need to worry about the costing and all. Companies will consider the costing and all, and they will provide you. You no need to invest money on this when you are working with the real time environment and all. Companies will invest money on top of it. But still, as I mentioned, we have closed source LLMs, which all are paid ones, and we are also having the open source LLMs with us. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, and just one thing, is prompt engineering GenAI and GenAI same both or different? Yeah. Prompt engineering is a part of GenAI, Karthik. So we are going to learn the prompt engineering as part of this course. Gen AI without prompt engineering is nothing. So prompt engineering is part of our course. They both are, I mean, it's a part of it. I cannot say these are separate. Yeah. All right. Okay. So as I said, if you can ask me what all the companies are actually building with this Gen AI models and all, let's say for example, think about the Netflix. Right? Previously, what do? They used to provide the recommendation systems, correct? So right at this moment, they don't just need AI to recommend the shows, but right now they need the AI that can help create personalized trailers, generate the new storylines, or even design the interactive content. This is why they are looking for the people who understand and can apply the Gen AI. If I can tell you the example, the companies are in constant race to innovate and stay ahead of the competition. Gen AI is, to be honest, I'm telling, it's a game changer because it empowers the business to create unique content, whether it's a personalized marketing or automated product designs or even new music. The ability to innovate is why companies are eager to hire the experts who can unlock the creative potential of the Gen AI. So here I have a message, which LLM is covered in our course. So we are going to cover Open AI, Pavan, and also I will explain about the Llama 2 functionality also. Gemini tool I will explain, but I'm not going to make use of the Gemini LLM. I'm going to make use of the Open AI. So Vinod is asking, which data-based model has been used by GenAI? Means structured or unstructured? It's a combination, Vinod. It's a combination. Because internet data is consisting of most of the unstructured data. Some in some or the other way, we are having the mix of it, right? The some tabular data and all. It's a mix, structured plus unstructured data. So that's where we are using the models to learn from, and also we are even utilizing semi structured data, and also we are utilizing the reinforcement learning to learn all this. It's a combination basically. Okay. Okay, so this is all about me from my side. Those who ask me from what are the topics that I'm going to cover, I'll be sharing the topics first of all so that you guys can have a look. Okay, so this is from the Gen AI, but before that, we are going to cover the Python also, guys. Actually, so let me open Python from my side. I'm going to explain from the Python also, so no worry. So first of all, this is about the, just a moment. I will try to search Python. Just give me a moment, guys. Just give me a moment. Okay. Anyways, I will tell you. First of all, we are going to cover introduction to Gen AI, what exactly the NLP and DL, the concepts that we are going to understand, and what are the different Gen AI models, and what is the language models and transformers, and what is the prompt engineering, and how the Gen AI life cycle is going to work, and after that, how to create the embeddings, and what are the different techniques available, and which technique to use when, and what are the word embeddings, contextual sentence and subword embeddings, and all these things we are going to learn. These all are the types of the names. And after that, how we are going to check the information and where we are storing in the vector database, how to store them into the vector database, and how to implement the RAG, advanced RAG and modular RAG architecture. If we are going to deal with the data, how we are providing our data to the model, and then we are going to implement the lang chain as well as llama index. As I said, we are going to learn the vector databases also, and then we are going to explain about the fine tuning of the LLMs, and finally we are going to learn different evaluation metrics also. And then we are going to understand the Amazon Bedrock and Azure OpenAI. But I am also going to explain different AI tools, like what are the different AI tools available in the market. So these all are the tools these all are the topics that I'm going to cover throughout our session. Along with this, as I said, we are going to cover Python also. Okay. So this is a Python. So I know most of the people are coming from the diverse background. So that's the reason I'm going to even explain the Python programming language. Oh, sorry, just a moment. So that's the reason I'm going to even cover the Python also from the scratch. Means it is not core Python again. Whichever is required for the data science, I'm going to explain all this. What are the control statement, list, tuples and functions, dictionaries, libraries, and data preprocessing. All these things we are going to learn as part of this. Okay. So those who all are familiarized with this Python concepts, that is well and good. But yeah, we are going to cover those also along with the Gen AI concepts, guys. Okay. So that's all from my side for today. In case if you guys are having any doubts, you can let me know. I'll take the queries now. As I mentioned, tomorrow we are going to start from the basics from the Python onwards. So yeah, that's from my side. It's total 50 to 60, including we are going to provide the end-to-end project also as part of it, Vinod. So training part alone is going to be the 50 hours. In case if we are going to, yes, we are going to have the main project also, including it is going to 55 to 60 hours of training program entirely. I am going to provide total two different projects. One is by using all this RAG, LangChain, and Llama Index and all, and one is by using the UI also, including end-to-end. Along with that, as I said, I'm going to explain how to build a model on the Amazon Bedrock also. And one more thing, guys, you are going to get hands-on notebook for every module, wherever there is a coding is required. Let's say, for example, today, first of all, I will be explaining about the coding part today. Tomorrow you will be getting the code for that particular concept in the class itself, where I'm going to explain, so that you will be getting the coding also for the topics wherever there is a code. It's not only about the theory. So, Karthik, as I mentioned, Python, it is really good if you can have machine learning, NLP, and deep learning. But as I said, in-depth knowledge of that is something which is not required to learn Gen AI. Any which way, I am going to explain the concepts required from the ML, NLP, and deep learning. It's really good to have these. If you are already having it, that's a plus advantage for you. So Manish, as I said, first of all, I'll be taking you guys through Python programming language first of all. So as I mentioned, First of all, I'll be explaining from the scratch, even how to get the ID, whether you are going to make use of. We are going to make use of the Google Colab for all these things. I will explain how to work with, and at the end, any which way, we are going to have the Amazon Bedrock and all these things, right? I'm going to explain the Visual Studio Code also. I will be taking you guys through the step-by-step process. So don't worry, I will not be jumping here and there. You will be having a very detailed step-by-step process there. So timings are morning 7:30 to 9:30 IST AM, 7:30 AM to 9:30 AM IST. How long it will take to learn Python from the scratch? So you may require 20 hours hardly if you can practice it at home. Whatever the things I'm giving you in the class, you will just have to practice, Manish. That's it. Yeah. Oh, Karthik, it's good to have AWS and Azure basic knowledge. That's enough. That's a cloud environment, basically. That's a cloud, AWS or Azure or GCP. One among these three, you can have an understanding. That's enough. AWS is most easy, I can say, but Azure is good with Gen AI. But anything is fine. Even AWS is also performing good. Kranti, will be there be any record? Yes, Kranti, all these sessions are recorded sessions only. So you will be getting the recordings post the completion of the class. By the end of the day, you will be getting it. Vinod, I have a background in computer science and I'm working with Java and Oracle Fusion Stack. Can I fit? Yes, Vinod, exactly. You will be. You know, right, how the companies are moving ahead towards the Gen AI. To be honest, in my organization itself, we are automating the Java task by using the Gen AI and test cases using the Gen AI, even the UI functionalities using the Gen AI. Means everywhere Gen AI is taking the step forward. It's good to learn the Gen AI right at this moment, because in future everything will be getting automated by using the Gen AI. If you are having the computer science background, that is much enough actually, I can say. Already you are working as a Java developer. For you, Python will be nothing for sure, I can say. If you are already good at Java, Python is like a basic English. You will feel so comfortable. I can say you will be the good fit to get into the Gen AI at this moment. Yeah, I understand, Karthik. As I said, that's completely all right. You can either learn AWS or Azure. That's fine to have. Okay, so we know current market salary, if you can ask me, I don't know what is your years of experience. So in my organization, a fresher from a basic college having the Gen AI skills, we are offering the 9 lakhs, but I'm not telling that every other organization is having the same thing. To be honest, the candidate is from what to say, he it is my company is a product based company. At least companies are giving for a freshers itself, they are giving the 6 lakhs package if they are having the Gen AI. And also for 10 years of experience, you can easily expect the range from 30 to 50 LPA based on the current market with your current salary, that whatever you are having. So Venkat, I have seen job requirements with C++. Is that new or sign of things to come? Venkat, to be honest, with the C++, I'm really not sure. But there are some companies who all are not able to come out of the C Sharp and C++, Java and all these things, right? So those companies will still expect the candidates to migrate the C++ into the Gen AI skills, actually. Maybe that's the reason they are adding the requirements in the job. Mm, not really, I can say. Not really. We need to learn C++ in future. Yeah. Thank you. Which course I will take, like Gen AI or automation testing, like for future perspective and for market perspective, being non-IT professional. Also, I have basic knowledge in the AWS. If you can ask me, for sure get into the Gen AI, because as I just mentioned, we are automating the test cases also. Whatever the testers are doing, we automated this task. GenAI is going to automate everything, guys. I'm not scaring you, but it's better you guys should understand that what exactly GenAI is doing. Even the testers' work, whatever they are doing, we automated the task. So that's the reason, Manish, I can still suggest learn the GenAI, go with the market trend. Maybe at this moment you will work hard for at least for 1 year or 2 years, but in the future you will become the experienced one in the Gen AI, which is ruling the market. There is everybody can learn automation testing or whatever the subject it is, but Gen AI is something which is going to lead the entire IT market. So that's the reason I'm suggesting you to learn the Gen AI. Everybody, even if today's world, I can tell you, out of 100 people, 90% people are familiarized with the other technologies. Only 10% of people are there who is familiar with the Gen AI. So that's the reason when compared to the other candidates, Gen AI candidates are earning very high. Gen AI persons package is very high when compared to the other people. Just because of this reason, companies are hiring the candidates like anything. It's like a real hot cake in the market. So it's better to grab the Gen AI at this moment itself only before n number of coming candidates are coming into the market. It's still in the initial phase, I can tell you. It's a right time that you should grab this at this moment. Okay. Hi Rishi. So I am from data background and works on the ETL. Does this course help me as these words? Yes, for sure, Rishi. If you are already coming from the data background, it would be easy for you to understand. Gen AI is completely a new concept. For sure, I can tell you, even if you are coming from the data science background also, you will never hear the words like RAG, LangChain, Llama Index and all. But if you are already dealing with the data, it will be more easy for you to understand. For sure, I can tell you, Rishi. It will add weight to your resume. Okay. Yeah, Deepak. So I am management professional with zero experience in coding. My past work experience is into the automobiles. Do you see me as a good fit for this course? So Deepak, as I mentioned, even if you are coming from the non-coding experience also, I must sure that in your workarounds also you must be getting into the Gen AI some or the other way. Whether it can be from the management skills or understanding the workaround from your team management, you must be expected to have a Gen AI skills. Okay, let me tell you one example. If you want to switch the company, let's say, with the same management professional, again, you want to get into the management role only. But still, as because entire world is moving towards the data science with the Gen AI skills, at least the expectation, if you can keep in resume that you are a management professional, even after that, if you are adding the skills of Gen AI, when compared to the market, the people with the Gen AI skills will have the highest preference when compared to the basic management professional. That's where the difference comes in, Deepak, for sure. The resume with Gen AI skills will be picked first because let's say you're leading a team, let's say you're handling a team, at least you should familiar with the things, whatever that people are doing, correct? In order to know the workarounds, whatever they are doing, at least you need to understand the Gen AI skills. At least for that, you are expected to have the skills of the Gen AI for sure. And that will for sure add the weight to your resume without any doubt for sure. Even to the Scrum Masters, also, I can suggest if the candidate is coming from the Scrum Master role, let's say, for example, every people can become a Scrum Master, but with the Gen AI skills is very rare in the market. Even for the Scrum Master also, whether you believe me or not, in my organization, they are paying 38 lakhs of package. That's the market trend with the Gen AI skills. Just because he did the complete certification in the Gen AI. That's the main reason, guys. Now you guys can understand. Whatever the department that you are coming from, if it is adding the Gen AI, that will improve the weightage to your resume for sure. I hope I answered your query, Deepak. So Vinod, obviously DSA is add-on. If you have enough time, I'll still suggest you to learn. That's really amazing thing. If you want to get into the topmost companies, always DSA is something which is very, very important to understand, obviously. We are exploring the Vertex AI in our office team and trying to create the text classification LLM and embedding with the Flask application. Is this good combination? So if you can ask me, I still suggest AWS or Azure is the best combination when compared to the Vertex AI. But still, yes, you can do that actually. It's not that we cannot do it. We can do it, but again, it completely depends on the what to say, your what to say, investments and all, your company investment and all actually. If you can ask me what I will choose, if you can provide me this use case, maybe rather than going with the Vertex, as I said, I will go with the any kind of Azure platforms. Okay, if you're restricted to go with the Vertex AI for the text classification with the Flask application, it's a good combination for most of the things. But as I said, if you can ask me if you are having the possibility to go with the Azure, I can go with the Azure. Okay. So, but most of the time, Flask you mentioned, right? AWS SageMaker with the Flask for similar capabilities is easy combination actually when compared to the other things. But that completely of the customer choice again, I can tell you. Okay, I am into card payment business, and in which this will help Rishi. You must be sending the emails to the customers, and also you must be receiving the information, and you are analyzing the data of the customers, and you are providing the analytical reports to your manager, something like this, right? So how can you do? You may do it manually. You may initiate the mail chain, and also you will be doing it, right? By using the Gen AI, you can automate all these tasks. Whatever the tasks that you are working for 7 to 8 hours, whether it can be a data analysis of the customers or providing the report generation to the end user or whatever it is, you can hardly complete the task within 3 hours for sure, I can say, Rishi, with the Gen AI skills and all. So, Avinash, we are not going to cover fully. As I said, if I have to cover fully, it will require 6 months of time. I am going to cover the topics which are required to learn the Gen AI from the machine learning, NLP, and deep learning. Hi, Ablash. Currently, I'm working on Citrix Cloud and I have a basic knowledge on AWS. I don't have any coding language. How much coding knowledge do we require for Gen AI? So Python is the only coding which we required, Abhilash, to be honest. So as I mentioned, whatever we are going to learn in the Python, that would be more sufficient to write any kind of Gen AI programming skills and all. That's more enough, whatever we are going to learn from this class. Okay, so Rizwan, I know about iOS app development, how it is useful for me if I learn Gen AI. Do I have to apply Gen AI? Okay, so wait a minute, do I have to apply Gen AI concept in app development, or I have to change my skills to set leave app development? Also, my manager is in the company said almost most of the companies are in the POC state as of now. So what is the full outcome? How companies gaining with Gen AI is not known fully. Can you please shed light? Yeah, sure. So Rizwan, as I said, you are in iOS development, correct? In my team, the people are working with Angular and TypeScript languages actually, which includes iOS and also web applications and all these things. We are actually, I mean, whatever the components that you will be having, like app.component.ts and also module.ts and routing.ts, we are providing this as an input to the model, telling that, hey, this is how generally we used to build the application. You want to build a new app with the additional features with including all this. We are explicitly providing. Means we are not going to build the app from the scratch. By just providing the information to the model, we are expecting the Gen AI model to build a new complete app where there is zero manual intervention. See, whether you want to stick into the iOS development or you want to switch into the Gen AI is completely of your choice. But even the app development task is also automated by Gen AI. Now you can understand. But if you can ask me why to stick into only that when you have an option to work with the Gen AI skills, that's where I will ask, I will provide you the information. You can get expertise into the Gen AI, into the iOS app development part also. There are still companies who are looking for this kind of developers also, where they worked as an iOS app developer. but where they want GenAI skills to be implemented so that they can automate building the applications or building the new features or enhancing the features into the existing applications by using the large language model without the zero manual intervention. And if you mentioned every company is in the POC stage, no, we are into production. We are the first healthcare providers who provided the product into the production. We are already in the production. No, not all the companies only in the POC stage. We are already in the production. I hope I addressed your query. Okay. Thanks, Rishi. It's not required, Abhilash. No, no certification explicitly is required. If you are having the skills, no certification. This is enough. This class is enough. Can we please get your contact for the extended questions? So, Joginder, in case of any queries, you can approach our respective team. They will fix a one-on-one call based on the requirement. Okay. There are so many in the market like Azure OpenAI and AWS GenAI and all these things. If you are keen on interested in certifications for the GenAI, I can suggest you go with Azure OpenAI or AWS Bedrock certification. So, Avinash, as I said, whatever the concepts, I am going to provide you the industrial projects, guys. It is not something like other training institutes. I am going to tell you if you are getting deployed into a industry as a developer, how you are going to build the application. That is what something I am going to teach to end from the scratch. You are going to learn from the scratch to end as a Gen AI developer. If you are deployed into a company, what all the roles and responsibilities that you are going to work and how you are implementing the project. These are the things I'm going to cover, Avinash. Okay. Sure, Vinod, I will help you in that. Rizwan, 7 to 9 may not be possible, but if everybody's concern is time, I may make it from 7:30 to 9, but not 7 to 9. I will make it from 7:30 to 9 if possible. Okay. Yeah. I think I addressed all of your queries. In case of anything, you guys can let me know. So I think all your queries are addressed. If no queries, we'll wind up the session and we'll see you guys tomorrow.